Hello, everybody, and welcome to Showdown at Happy Valley, where over the next half hour, we're going to take a deep dive inside both Penn State and West Virginia before they face off inside Beaver Stadium. I'm Jack Hillgrove.
And I'm Addison Elbert. That's right. We're going to take a closer look at this matchup and also give you some do's and don'ts while visiting here in State College. For now, let's take a look at that matchup. It's all going down September 2nd at 7:30 p.m., and you can catch the game's coverage on NBC. Now, the last time these two teams played was in 1992 in Morgantown on October 24th. Penn State took home the win, beating the Mountaineers on their home turf in Morgantown 40-26. Before 1992, the teams played 59 games over 88 years, with Penn State taking home most of the wins. The record stands with Penn State taking home 48 of the wins, WVU winning 9, and the teams tying twice in 1923 and 1958. Now let's take a look at who is leading the charge in this matchup. That's right, the coaches.
Yet one guy's heading into his 10th season at the helm, the other his 5th, but they're going to be facing off against one another for the first time.
From what I understand, Neil will be calling the plays this year, which is really his background. They returned 16 starters. They ended the year with a really good win on the road at Oklahoma State, which is a tough place to play.
I'd be hoping Penn State. We're going to look exactly the same. Exactly the same. Same plays that we ran versus Oklahoma State. Tell James that's the same exact plays we're going to run.
Heading into his 10th season at Penn State, James Franklin has a career record of 78-36 in the Happy Valley, with 102 wins for himself all-time in his career. He's taken Penn State to a bowl game in every season except for 2020, which includes 4 appearances in New Year's Six bowl games and a Big Ten championship back in 2016. And on the flip side, Neil Brown getting set for his 5th season in Morgantown after 4 very successful years at Troy from 2015 to 2018. Brown, a career record of 22-25 at WVU, with a record in the Big 12 of 14-21. The Mountaineers were last in a bowl game in 2021, and they have not finished above 500 since 2020. Now, like we previously mentioned, the last time these two teams met in 1992. 31 years later, we want to see what the fans are saying about this matchup.
The two schools are separated by just 180 miles, with many fans in between. So are some already predicting a win? Let's take a closer look.
We are able to make a difference somewhere else and not just here at Mountaineer Field, that we're able to go support our team in other places. And so it's really cool to be able to do that, and that we can show that our hard work that we do is paying off for things.
Well, I mean, it's a big rivalry, so you would hope it's a close game, but I honestly think Penn State's going to blow them out of the water. They're way too good.
Again, the game is being played right here in Beaver Stadium. It's all going down September 2nd at 7:30 p.m., and you can catch the game's coverage on NBC.
Coming up next on Showdown at Happy Valley, we take a look at both signal callers for the Nittany Lions and the Mountaineers.
And also, we're going inside one of the most well-known college football atmospheres in the nation. That's right, we're headed inside of Beaver Stadium. That's coming up.
Welcome back outside Beaver Stadium, everybody, and to Showdown at Happy Valley. It's time we take a look at both quarterbacks for Penn State and West Virginia, both of whom getting ready for their first full seasons as the starter. And as for Penn State's, he's got some serious hype around him heading into 2023.
The quarterback situation for the Nittany Lions and Mountaineers isn't that much different. Both teams will have new starting quarterbacks this year, with the season riding on their shoulders.
Y'all want to know about the quarterback. I know who we're going to play. I know who's going to start. I don't know if we'll share that or not. But yeah, that's been decided.
Both West Virginia and Penn State remaining tight-lipped about their starting quarterbacks going into game week. For the Mountaineers, the battle is between junior Garrett Green and redshirt freshman Nico Markiel. Markiel saw action last season against Towson and Texas Tech, and also helped lead the Mountaineers to a season-ending win against Oklahoma State. Green, the more experienced player, has played in 22 career games, including 2 starts. While one seems to be the clear-cut starter, head coach Neil Brown hasn't ruled out both seeing playing time.
We're going to continue to push them. We're going to continue. We can play both of them in the game. I mean, I feel comfortable with both of them. It's just, it's been clear who's ahead at this point.
For Penn State, it comes down to presumed starter Drew Aller and redshirt freshman Bo Prabula. Aller, heading into his sophomore year, now appeared in 10 games so far for the Nittany Lions, throwing for more than 300 yards and 4 touchdowns. Prabula has yet to see in-game action. No matter who's under center, offensive coordinator Mike Urich wants to see the guys in blue and white move the ball down the field.
It's all about being efficient on every snap and making sure that we're on schedule, that we're being explosive, and that we're ahead of it.
Stay with us. Coming up a little later in the broadcast, we'll hear from guys on the defensive side of the ball who are chomping at the bit to get after these quarterbacks. Reporting from University Park, I'm Sean Eiler.
It's the Showdown at Happy Valley, and it's inside of Beaver Stadium. And I know that this is not Beaver Stadium. This is the Millennium Science Complex here at University Park. And it's home to all of the research here at Penn State. And it's built on springs because the volume inside of Beaver Stadium gets out of control on game day. With a crowd of 106,572 people, Beaver Stadium is the second largest stadium in the United States, with fans fighting to be the first in volume.
The closest thing, and I've never had this experience, but I would imagine it's what it feels like when you're shot out of a cannon. That's just the adrenaline rush, the energy, the environment that you experience when you're in Beaver Stadium.
Whenever they score a touchdown, it's just great having everyone, high-fiving each other, this and that. Like, people you don't even know. It's like you've known them for 10 years, and it's great.
With themes such as the whiteout, stripe out, and homecoming, the Penn State student section constantly ranks as one of the top in the nation, led by an organization known as Nittanyville. These students camp out days before a big game in order to get the front row seat to all the action.
You're camping out. And sometimes you're camping out in 60-degree weather, and then sometimes it'll be like 35-degree weather, and you still see how dedicated everybody is.
Nittanyville was established in 2005, and if you're new to Beaver Stadium, there is one tradition you'll need to learn.
One section will start the wave, and it goes wave, 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 and then you see the whole student section. They're all like locking eyes on us because we're loud. The 3-4 rows are chanting wave, so they all know it's coming. We go. And then it goes around the stadium. Now, if it makes it around, I want to say like 2 times successfully without breaking, when it comes back around, we'll go slow, 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 slow. And then that's when the student section knows to slow it down. And that's when it goes like this.
And if that is successful, you guessed it, fast.
It's not only just Nittany, though. When everybody's in that stadium, everybody's together. And that opposing team has to face the entire crowd as one. And that's what that Penn State experience is.
As for other need-to-knows for visiting guests entering Beaver Stadium,
Hey, join us at a tailgate, have something to drink. Inside the stadium, it's going to be an uncomfortable, 2.5 hours for them because our team is going to impose its will on them, and they're going to leave disappointed, but hopefully they have a good time in Happy Valley outside of the game.
Everybody's there. It's just everybody is one. That's why we say we are, because we're always together.
coming up, one group we're sure to see at Beaver Stadium are the Mountaineer Maniacs. We'll take a closer look at who they are and what they're about coming up.
And also coming up on Showdown at Happy Valley, who's going to be toting the rock for both of these teams? We take a look at the running backs after the break. A year ago, Penn State, a two-headed monster at running back. Both of those guys freshmen, now sophomores. As for West Virginia, a little bit of makeover in the running back room. It's time now we take a look at who's going to be carrying the rock for both Penn State and WVU. The Nittany Lions' young backfield took the nation by storm in 2022, with two freshmen leading the way that are poised for more this fall. Last season, Nick Singleton led Penn State with 1,061 rushing yards and 12 touchdowns on 156 carries, but fellow classmate Katron Allen wasn't far behind him. He had 867 yards on 167 carries to go along with 10 rushing touchdowns. Allen also a threat in the passing game. Last season he had 20 receptions for the Nittany Lions for 188 yards and a touchdown. Both of those guys are back and have the potential to be not one of, if the best backfield tandem in all of college football this season. For the visitors, they have to replace their leading rusher from a year ago, with Tony Mathis Jr. now playing for former WVU head coach Dana Holgorsen at Houston. But the Mountaineers do bring back rising junior C.J. Donaldson, who had 8 rushing touchdowns on 87 carries to go along with 526 rushing yards. Between the two sophomores in Happy Valley and the junior in Morgantown, both squads have ball carriers that they are excited about heading into the college football campaign.
And now we're heading to Morgantown to learn a little bit more about the Maniacs. Jessica Riley has more.
WVU and Penn State taking it back to the gridiron for the first time in 30 years. I spoke with the Mountaineer Maniacs and what this rivalry means.
The Mountaineer Maniacs are the official student section for WV Athletics. So we show up to all the games, be loud.
Hundreds of country road singing Mountaineer Maniacs wake up as early as 6 a.m. to put their game faces on and begin tailgating.
I think it takes pride and passion for the school, because to be able to cheer every Saturday, it's like a dedication and you have to have it in your heart to do it.
A rivalry that hasn't been seen in decades has the Maniacs ready to hit the road to Penn State.
Everyone wants to go to Happy Valley for a game. That is on a lot of sports fans' bucket lists, so that we're able to take a trip is really exciting, and to be able to have someone close by. Since we're in the Big 12, a lot of our teams are out west, so it's really hard for us students to go to away games. So to be able to experience that, someone close to home, someone who we've had a rival with, is going to be a lot of fun to bring back.
And Mountaineer Maniacs Executive Director Katie Scott says win or lose, the Maniacs come together.
It's sort of like a little family of the one big family that is WVU. So it's really nice to be able to show up and have people that are there that will cheer with you and be there with you.
At the Milan Puskar Stadium, I'm Jessica Riley.
Has it been a while since you've been to Happy Valley? No worries, we've got you covered coming up.
Yeah, also coming up, an age-old tradition in Morgantown, the West Virginia Mountaineer. Jessica Riley has a look inside who's carrying the musket this fall in Morgantown.
Welcome back to Showdown at Happy Valley. It feels good to be home, but no worries if you don't call State College home. I'm here to give you some helpful tips and tricks and even show you some stops you might want to take before you exit Happy Valley. Sitting in the center of Pennsylvania, surrounded by farmlands and forest, is State College, home to the Penn State Nittany Lions. While football is one of the area's main attractions, it's not the only attraction worth visiting.
Well, certainly you have to go to the Creamery, right? Best ice cream in the world. You must make a stop at the Creamery.
What is the Creamery, you ask? The Berkey Creamery is home to Penn State's world-famous ice cream.
We have about 72 ice cream flavors, and our most popular is Death by Chocolate. We have about 15 core flavors, and that's core flavors that we serve throughout the entire year. Then we have fan favorites that we serve sporadically throughout the year, and then seasonal favorites.
He says the top 5 flavors are Death by Chocolate, chocolate chip cookie dough, bittersweet mint, cookies and cream, and of course the famous Penn State grilled stickies flavor.
We can scoop 10,000 cones in a weekend, so Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. We can pack 10,000 half gallons.
Around 10,000 pounds of dry ice is delivered to the Creamery a week. Through calculation, they are able to make sure your ice cream stays nice and cold no matter how far you have to travel.
Just tell us how far you have to go. So if you have to go 2 hours or 5 or 24 hours, we'll make sure we get the right amount of poundage of dry ice.
75% of the ice cream is made from locally grown ingredients from the Department of Agriculture. The Creamery is more than just ice cream, though. They make around 125 different products, from cheese and milk to lemonade and coffee. And who makes up most of the over 1 million visitors a year?
Penn State's known for the power of our network. And if it wasn't for our 775,000 alumni that live worldwide, we wouldn't be such a powerful force on behalf of our graduating students.
If the alumni are not getting ice cream, they are typically lining the streets of downtown, visiting popular bar locations such as Pickles, Champs, and getting a bite to eat at the famous Corner Room on South Allen Street.
The second most visited location in the state of Pennsylvania is the Lion Shrine, and so go up there, have your picture taken with it. Even if you're not a Penn State or if you're from the visiting team, right? It's the best icon that marks your visit here to Penn State.
There are also many opportunities to be outside, such as hiking Mount Nittany, to see the view of campus, visiting Old Main, and even the Penn State Arboretum near the tailgating fields. As for parking, you can find game day details on Penn State Athletics website. And if you hear this,
we are.
The proper response is. Like Penn State, WVU has many traditions, and one of them is the selection of their Mountaineer. Now Jessica Riley, our Mountaineer, takes a closer look at this age-old tradition.
A tradition dating back to 1934, the Mountaineer mascot symbolizing the proud and rich heritage of West Virginia. Every year, a new mascot is picked to serve for West Virginia University, the Mountain State, and its people.
So it's kind of cool that now I'm kind of the physical embodiment of that Mountaineer spirit and of what it means to be a West Virginian and a WVU fan.
Michael Hager, a Boone County native, is the 69th buckskin-clad, rifle-toting Mountaineer mascot.
To this day, I'm still hoping my growth spurt finally comes and I can go play linebacker out there. But until then, this is kind of the next best thing. So, I was on the cheer team for 4 years before I did this, and I stood next to the Mountaineer. I got to see all the kinds of interactions that they could have with fans and the impact they could make. So it's something that I really wanted to try out and see how I do at them.
And while Hager has been to over 150 events so far, he says his excitement to serve while a historical rivalry makes a comeback is an honor.
Really long and storied rivalry, and I'm really glad that it's back. I'm glad to be a part of that.
Hager's pride in his school, state, and people is what makes a Mountaineer a Mountaineer.
Nothing close to the 60,000 we have here as far as sound, energy, game day environment. It's like, sure, you got a bigger stadium, but we use ours better. I just think I'm some college kid, but I can walk into a room and make people's day just by asking them how they're doing. So to me, it's kind of almost like imposter syndrome at times, thinking man, I'm nothing special. Why is everyone excited to see me? But then, at the end of the day, it's really cool to know that I can have that type of impact on people's lives.
Out of 131 FBS college football teams, Penn State's defense ranked 17th in the country last season, West Virginia's 98th. With that, let's take a look at both teams on the defensive side of the ball heading in to this matchup.
Penn State ranked 10th in the nation last year in points allowed per game. Meanwhile, West Virginia not faring so well against the Big 12's high-powered offenses. They ranked 119th in the nation in points allowed per game. Penn State hoping last year's sack leader Abdul Carter will carry over his performance into this upcoming season, while West Virginia hopes that some new blood on defense gives them the spark they need.
We got a strong group of veterans. I think the coaches and the players and the staff all kind of see it the same way.
Penn State is looking to build off last season's strong defensive play, and they seem to have the depth to do it.
The best defenses I've been a part of in terms of getting after the quarterback, including us a year ago, is because we had multiple waves of guys that could be relentless and not have to pace themselves to try to last the 60 minutes. So we're blessed to have lots of guys who can create havoc and lots of guys who can cover.
That includes sophomore linebacker Abdul Carter. Defensive coordinator Manny Diaz wants him to temper the hype surrounding him after an impressive freshman year.
It's not about being putting the cape on and doing insane things. When you're extremely talented and you play simple, you make simple things look extraordinary.
For the West Virginia Mountaineers, they're trying to keep things simple too.
We spent more time on video on fundamental things than we did on schematic things. And I think that's really, really helped a lot of our guys.
That includes simplifying the scheme for newcomers, like transfer safety Anthony Wilson. He says he came to WVU from Georgia Southern to showcase his skills on a bigger stage. Few will be bigger than the one at Penn State on September 2nd.
I look forward to it ever since, that schedule. I saw it on the schedule and I committed here. Just having the opportunity to go up there, they're a good team, we're a good team. We're going to go out there and compete.
Some other new blood that could see time on the defensive side, freshman James Hurd Jr. will be playing in a defensive end linebacker hybrid role for the Mountaineers.
He's exactly what we thought he was. He's one of our best natural pass rushers, just has a knack, is a lot savvier than you think that he would be as early in his career in coverage, he's going to be a really, really good player for us.
While both teams prepare for the big game, we want to make sure you are prepared too. Let's toss things over to my good friend Jeff Exline with a look at your game day forecast.
Thanks, Sean. All will be happy with the weather in Happy Valley this Saturday as the Mountaineers come into town. We have a mainly clear sky. Temperatures falling through the 70s and into the 60s towards the end of the game. What about other area games on this kickoff Saturday? A little warmer in Pittsburgh as Pitt will be having their home opener. 84 degrees at 3:30. In Notre Dame, mid-80s. In Indiana, hosting the Buckeyes, upper 80s. Notice these temperatures getting warmer for some of these games on Saturday, especially into Texas where it's always hot. TCU hosting Colorado, 94 degrees at noon, and the hot one is in Texas with a high temperature of 101 degrees at kickoff at 3:30 as Texas takes on Rice.
Again, the game is being played right here in Beaver Stadium. It's all going down September 2nd at 7:30 p.m., and you can catch the game's coverage on NBC.
Well, on behalf of our entire hardworking crew, we'd like to thank you for tuning in to Showdown at Happy Valley.
We hope you enjoy your visit to State College if you plan on coming, and if not, make sure you catch all of your game day coverage on NBC. Have a great night.